It's just us again, fam, for that feel bad story of the year. Here we are back with a video that literally nobody asked for, but we're gonna go ahead and give it to you. If you like making kettle sours, but you're sick of the work, 2 boils, 2 chills. And if you're looking at my shitty face right now,
you have chosen wisely.
This is our 3rd or 4th kettle sour video that we've made. I don't know if you guys have noticed by now, but we're just making the same videos with the same shots over and over and over and... But what's different about this video? The yeast. See, there was a few innovations in brewing last year, 2020, and Philly sour yeast was one of them. What is a kettle sour? It's a quick way to sour your beer. What are some styles of sours? Berliner Weisses, Lambics, Gozas. We actually made a dill pickle goza last year and loved it. And if you want that recipe, click right here. Magic chime. But first, let's talk about the yeast. See, there's a ton of awesome stuff that came out of Philadelphia. There's sandwiches, cream cheese, really great athletes, really great fake athletes, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, angry video game nerd, and now a new yeast strain. See, a ton of nerds from the University of Sciences in Philadelphia concocted a way to create a lactic acid producing yeast. What does that mean? It means that the yeast will turn wort into beer and drop the pH at the same time. See, there's more ways than one to create a kettle sour, but we've always done it with Good Belly lactobacillus, and it's worked great. So what's the problem? It's too much work. It's 2 brew days for 1 batch. Bring to a near boil, chill to 100 degrees, pitch the lactobacillus, hit your desired pH sourness, bring back to boil and chill again. With the Philly sour yeast, we shouldn't have to do 2 boils and 2 chills. Let's see if this yeast is the real deal or it's a fugazi.
You know what a fugazi is? Well, fugazi, it's fake.
Real quick, but first, we were on the Barragecast last week, which is Homebrew for Life's virtual happy hour. It's a YouTube channel, check it out. And somebody brought up that their Philly sour yeast beer came out tasting like a Belgian when it wasn't supposed to. I guess a Belgian sour, if the sour, if in fact works. Now let's just say I'm not the biggest fan of sours. I fucking hate them. But we were also talking about how that Belgian-y taste goes away after it's kegged off. You know, when you keg things off, it can be a little bit aggressive at first, but give it time, and color could die out, aroma, and hopefully whatever Belgian-y flavors he was talking about go away. I don't want a Belgian beer. I do not want 5 gallons of Belgian beer. The bummer about that is I do not like waiting when I put beer on. It's tough to wait around when you murder 5 gallons of beer every day. But let's do it. See, I'm a big trial by error guy, and I have to be because I'm allergic to reading. The same way I'm allergic to being patient. But the thing about trial and error is that it's Mr. Reliable. See, your eyes and your ears are your most reliable media source, or in this case, our nose and our palate. All right, so let's get it going. Grain build, nothing but 2 row. All I care about in this video is to see whether this yeast is bogus or not. Usually for a Goza or a Berliner Weiss, it's a 2-to-1 ratio or a 1-to-1 ratio with your base malt and your wheat malt. But for today, we're just doing 10 pounds of 2-row. Water, just using reverse osmosis for this video. We just made a video on how to build your water chemistry profile, but all I care about in this video is about the yeast, because in my mind, it sounds too good to be true. And generally when something is too good to be true,
it ain't.
Philly sour yeast calls for 2 packs per 5-gallon batch, but I only bought 1. I did not know that at the time of purchase, so I tried to make a yeast starter the day of. I've never done this before. Usually we always make the yeast starters the day before. If you want to watch a video on how to make a yeast starter, click right there. There should be that magic chime again. I'm brewing on an Anvil foundry, and I've noticed if I mill just once, then all of the wort just falls out when I pick up the grain basket. And if I mill my grain twice, it's almost like I get a stuck sparge. So what I do is I take my grain bill, all of it, 10 pounds, cut it in half. Doesn't matter what it is. Today it's just 2-row. But I take 5 pounds and 5 pounds, and I mill one of them twice and one of them once, and I put them back together, and it always creates a perfect sparge. I can't speak for everybody's system, but it works great with the Anvil Foundry's grain basket. You guys want to hear a joke? You hear about the circus fire? It was intense. The pump on my Anvil broke. It's my fault though. I got water in the switch. As you know, a huge factor of homebrewing is just the ability to make adjustments on the fly. The show's always got to go on. You got to work with what you got. My biological stepfather told me that. So we're just going to Vorloff the traditional way. Just keep it going until your runnings are clear. No recirculating pump. We're going to heat up the sparge water on a separate burner. Let's let these stupid plastic grips burn off. I hate these things. We don't need grips for these valves. We're not playing golf. I'm playing golf on Thursday though with my dad. Sparge until you get 6 gallons, bring to a boil. We're gonna boil for 60 minutes. For the hop situation, very little hops and very low in alpha acid. The lowest hops that I have right now are Fuggle, and I'm just gonna use half an ounce or 14 grams. Weed dealers know what I'm talking about. You wanna see a video on how to cool your wort in 20 minutes? Click right here, Mr. Jangle. We're gonna rack into a fermenter. Subscribe to this channel if you think Carole Baskin killed her husband. I always do the same setup when I'm racking into a fermenter. Wort going into a strainer on top of a funnel, making as much splashing as humanly possible. Let's get that oxygen in there. Pitch the yeast. I have no clue how well a yeast starter works the day of, but we'll see. MBC right now? Shout out to Brew Mill Tony for sending me some beer. And OG gravity is 1051. That's perfect. That is all we needed. Next day vibe. So the fermenter sat at 62 Fahrenheit. This is America. And no dice, fam. Now it's time to work backwards. I'm gonna bring it into my bathtub and I'm gonna crank the hot water all the way up. I'm gonna bring it up to 90, and it's super cold in Southern California right now, and I'm just gonna see what happens to it. The airlock started getting going around 80 degrees, high 70s, and then I brought it back to room temp, which is our 62, and the airlock had consistent activity from then on out. It's kind of weird. Just need a little jump start, just like your shitty car. This is the first time I've used this yeast, and I'd imagine it's pretty stressed out, so I did not rush fermentation at all. I just chilled out and let it chill for 2.5 chill weeks. All right, 2.5 weeks later, let's pull a gravity reading. It's gonna be a soccer player. 1013. All right, so we got 5% Brewdog. Good shit, but let's see what happened. On the nose, I got the Belgian. On the palate, I got the Belgian. It ended up tasting Belgian. Banana smoothie Belgian. Not Belgian-y, not kind of Belgian, Belgian. But it did sour. It did sour. It definitely worked just turning sugar into alcohol and bringing the pH down. It tastes like a straight up sour Belgian. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keg it off for 3 days and see if it loses that Belgian taste and nose. But I do not think it is. But I've been wrong before, 1 or 2 million times, but I hope I'm wrong. All right, we got the neighbors bumping their mariachi music. Hopefully it doesn't pick up too much out there. It's been 3 days later. 20 PSI for 3 days, and you don't want to do any more nights than that. I just turned it back down to 10 PSI. But here we go. Here goes nothing. I mean, it's still Belgian-y, a little less Belgian-y. It's definitely there though. The Belgian is still there, and it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. A little less on the nose. Strong sour in the front, and then the banana kicks in at the end.